The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
And we're here. Sound's going to be a little different. I've been working on my microphone because I just did another unmanageables. So that is, it's actually uploading. I'm going to play it for you as if it does it in time. I'll play it for y'all. I think you'll enjoy it. Hello, Kitty. So welcome. Hopefully chat's working this time. I have too many cords here. There we go. I don't like things in front of my face like that. All right. I need to check, double check chat here. Okay. Nothing over there. So we are good so far. Hope you're having a good Monday. Today we're going to read out of As Bill Sees It. If you have the book, we're going to be on page 197. It doesn't really lead to any other readings, so we're kind of on our own. Little kitty dance. My cats are so used to me messing with them. This one gets a little crazy. But he doesn't use his nails, but oh no, he starts biting my nose and does weird stuff. So, all right. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong button. I was hoping this was done by the time I was done yakking, but that's okay. That's all right. Considering I didn't even bother to look at the outline for any of this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read As Bill Sees It, and then we'll kind of use ChatGPT as a marker to do to talk about certain things. This right here is usually what my microphone is on. I'm not putting my microphone on it anymore, but it holds my, my Spider-Man upside down. So, yeah. But, rationalization is one of those things where it's not really good for anything. Right? Let's find out. Are there any good things around rationalization? I don't even know if I asked that right.
Yes, rationalization.
Yes. Yeah, right. Can have positive effects. Okay. Lowering anxiety, softens the pain, protects self-esteem. I don't know that rationalization does that. That's kind of weird. I don't think that's quite it. Hey, Mo. Mutual benefits. It builds grit, finds meaning, aids problem solving. No, I'm not going through a specific situation, but I don't necessarily agree that rationalization can have any benefits at all. These aren't really necessarily benefits. See what I have to say to that. All right. That's completely fair. It makes sense why you view it that way. In psychology, rationalization is a fundamental defense mechanism. Maybe that's why I see it that way, because of the way that I use it. All right. It could be. So you ready? Ready for the next episode of The Unmanageables? Enjoy. Well, everybody, we got a new face tonight. Brad, do you want to introduce yourself? Yeah, Name is Brad. 7 years. Pretty impressive, honestly. 7 years? Wow. Well, then I just got back on the wagon. That's not where we usually clap. No, now I drink in a more restrained manner. Oh, he sounds like he's in a cologne commercial. Hot's this relapse with a publicist. I got overconfident a couple of times. I caught it. I adjusted. Adjusted how? Simple. A few. Not a lot. Well, that sounds disciplined. That's disease doing moth. Brian, a few is where most of our stories start lying. No, it's different. I have to be professional about it. Professional? Well, I do like professional. Aye, professional drinking, stale drinking. Normal drinkers don't need a job title for drinking. No, I respect the program. I just don't think every rule applies to every person. Aye, a special alcoholic. We get those every Tuesday. Well, that thought's taken a lot of people back out. But what if Brad really can drink normal now? Then he probably wouldn't be explaining it in an AA meeting. I still feel like I made some strong points. You did, and that's the problem. Well, some of us just don't need a better drinking plan. What we need is to stop auditioning for one. I love it. I love how June's just pining over Brad. She's not in the conversation. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun making it. Getting decent at those. Brad's voice sounded way too much like Trudge's, but that's all right. I listened to some of Brad's stuff, and it's actually kind of close. Yeah, he has. He's from Oklahoma, so he has this tiny bit of a southern drawl. It's just, tiny bit. So, but after everything he did this week, I had to make fun of him. All right. So, welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host. Oh, hey, we gotta have fun, right? New document requested. Well, I have a new document request from my therapy. I'm glad people are enjoying it. A few people have liked it. So, okay, so let's get to what we came here for. A little bit of reading. No, not a Carl Jung reference. Carl is the name of the English guy. That's the Carl I meant. Carl. Carl is based off an actual person. Carl Urban. Yes. He's based off his voice and the way that he kind of acts. See, I created a character that would allow me to swear, then I decided to make it PG-16. That's why I was doing that. But it's actually based off of Carl Urban from The Boys, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. I'm sure he was in Star Wars somewhere. I don't know. All right, 197, where rationalizing leads. Am I chairing today? I probably am. I'm probably chairing or hosting or doing both. You know what our genius for rationalization is? If, to ourselves, we fully justify one slip, then our rationalizing propensizes are most sure to justify another one. Perhaps with a different set of excuses, but one justification leads to another, and presently we are back on the bottle full time. I've been through this. Yeah. You'll hear me say it. It's so much easier to skip the second meeting. It's the rationalization. Yeah. I remember one, I wanted to, I was going to this concert. We were going to see Dishwalla, right? And I hadn't met him yet. I'm a big fan of Dishwalla. J.R. Richards was not singing anymore. I did meet J.R. Richards too at Herman's Hideaway. I actually gave him my 2-year chip. I was about 3-4 years sober. I did not stay for the concert. I barely was able to do that. I didn't stay for it because I drank a lot at a Herman's Hideaway. I played a lot. I did a lot of drugs there. I know it very well. So I didn't stay. Nowadays, I'd probably be okay with it. So I've been able to meet my people, but or the people I wanted to meet, but it was just one excuse after another. Once you slip, it's very easy. Well, I drank too, and I did okay. I'm going to try it again today. Not going to work. Well, it might. Okay, but my question would be, okay, you had 2 last night. How was your evening? Oh, it was okay. Bullshit. It was okay. Yeah, no, the evening was fine. No, it wasn't. Bullshit. You spent the rest of the night wanting more alcohol, didn't you? Yeah. So you might as well have been drinking. Well, that's not true. No, let's not go that route. Right. So there's a balance in here that, if somebody has a slip, it is not, that doesn't mean, that's why there's consequences involved. Right. So I don't know why my microphone looks half as tall as I do, but it does right now. All right. It's one excuse after another. It's so easy for me to rationalize too. Well, I'll take this and, I'll just rationalize it. Well, it's just blah, blah. Hmm. Usually out of selfishness, you know. So, when it comes to a slip, which because I'm only utilizing that because that's what he was talking about in here. And, no, it's not the end of the world. And no, you didn't lose everything. And yes, I do believe that you made progress if you came back. Now, if you slipped for the 20th time and came back, there's not really much progress left. Now we're stuck in a different cycle. And I'm aware of this cycle because I was in it myself. I was addicted to slipping. Now, the slip itself, no, but see, I was still getting what I wanted. At least, but he's trying to quit. He's trying to quit. And I would use that. But even after a while, that excuse went away. Experience shows all too often that even the controlled pill taker may get out of control. The same crazy rationalizations that once characterized his drinking began to blight his existence. He thinks that if pills can cure insomnia, so they cure his worry. And this was before a lot of stuff that we now know came out. Right? Well, some of it, not all of it. A lot of it's been around for a while. These miracle cures, right? And I'm not big on pills, unless it's Ativan. And I was prescribed Ativan at one point. I was because of my PTSD. Um, no, and what I would do is I would give the script to my wife, and she would hand it out if it had been the appropriate amount of time. Because it isn't that I wanted to overdo it. There was a part of me that wanted to, but when it comes to pills, I have a lot more willpower for some reason. When you're on those, your time is weird, right? Like a few hours would go by, and to me, it felt like 6, 7 hours. So that was one of the main reasons. Or I'd have to write down when I took them because my brain wouldn't remember. So I was very, very careful on those because I'm one of those people where I like to feel good, man. Right. And thankfully, a lot of the drugs out there I just didn't like. I mean, sure, cocaine was, it was cool. Yeah, I don't know. It was fun a couple of times. But you know, when you're sitting there talking with your friends at 7 o'clock at night, you open a beer, do a line, you turn around, talk to your friend, and the sun's coming up. All night gone. And I probably drank a case too. The next 2 days are gonna be horrible. All right, our friends. The doctors are seldom directly to blame for the dire results we so often experience. I hear a lot of people blame doctors for things. Well, they I have a mental illness and they put me on medications for bipolar and I'm not bipolar. Okay. They put me on medications um because I have ADHD, because I have depression, because I have PTSD or these different things. Now here's the problem. That doctor prescribed it to you because of what you told them. And when you lie to them, the doctor did not give you a misdiagnosis. You gave them the wrong prognosis. You lied. That's why that happened. It was not on the doctor. Sorry. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that people haven't made mistakes, things like that, but for the most part, no. It's not on the doctor. They didn't do that to you. Okay. Just like I was on 120 milligrams of Cymbalta. This is Cymbalta. I get them mixed up. It's an SSRI. It helps with depression, but it is also a pain reliever. And I was having a lot of neck pain, a lot of pain, and things like that. We were trying to stay away from narcotics. Okay. And they had me on 120 milligrams. And that was way too much. But it was because of the information I was giving to my doctor. Okay. Now I am not on Cymbalta anymore. I am off. Have been for about a year. But it took me a year to get off those fucking pills, man. I was pissed. I was pissed because the doctor didn't tell me this part. I mean, in the beginning I could do big chunks, right? And it didn't affect me too much. But when I got to that last part, I was on like 5 milligrams and tried to stop. Nope. Brain zaps, all sorts of weird shit. So I had to start pulling pills apart and dividing them up and putting them in pudding so I could, do it that way. I did that for months until and it went down by half a milligram each week. Okay? And during this time, I did not have Medicaid. Okay. And there was a psychiatrist at where I used to go to therapy. My therapist left there, and they helped me. She didn't have to do that. She did not get paid to help me get off of those, but she did it. Right? There are people out there who are willing to help, but you got to be honest. If you're not honest with them, they can't help you. Right? Okay. All right. So let's not blame the doctors. It is much too easy for alcoholics to buy these dangerous drugs. And once possessed of them, the drinker is often likely to use them without any judgment whatever. All right. Now, I knew. All right. So I did this with my kids too. Well, I didn't. See, when I started going to AA, my wife was going to Al-Anon. My wife had them go to Alateen. But if I told them to go to Alateen, I would have gotten the middle finger. They were not going to. But her, no. You did what she said. Or then you actually did have to deal with me. Because you tell me to piss off all you want. Okay, well, her, no. I'm going to talk to her like that. My wife. All right. But I had to go to Alateen when I was younger. My brothers and sisters didn't go. All right. Two more guys, I think probably too young. Of course, now they're in Al-Anon. Oh, how's that? But yeah. It was Alateen that taught me that if I was an alcoholic and decided to get involved in drugs, that I would probably get addicted to those too. So I stayed away from them. Ecstasy, loved it. And then I saw how I could use that every day and never did it again. No, I tried like 4 or 5 times. So, yeah. So let's find out a little bit more about where rationalizing leads us, right? So, this is about how dangerous justification can become for an alcoholic. And Bill points out that once we successfully explain away one bad decision, the mind becomes much better explaining away the next one. And eventually, rationalizing can take us right back to drinking. Okay. Now, the problem is alcoholics can make any situation kind of sound reasonable. This is where we're good. I don't like this setup. Yeah, you're probably not going to hear me as well, so you're going to have to turn up your earbuds or whatever, but I am moving that. I don't like it in my face. So it's good for recording. All right. Were you wondering where I was there for a second? Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, we're back to where we were. So we alcoholics can make almost anything sound reasonable, right? We do not always tell ourselves obvious lies, but sometimes the explanation sounds completely logical. Like, I've had a tough week. The situation is different. Nobody will know. It's only once, I deserve a break, after this week, it's what we call weekend warriors, binge drinking. Right. Right. A bad decision becomes much easier once we have created a good explanation for it. All right. And then when that happens, guess what? It's much easier to do it the second time, like stealing. Right. Because we alcoholics we also like being sneaky. We may not admit it, we may not even see it, but we do like being sneaky and getting away with it. That's why when I talk about the word sorry, that sorry from an alcoholic means I'm sorry I got caught. All right. Yeah. Right. So what happens is the one justification makes the next one easier. Right. And the reading that we just did warns us about the progression from one justified slip to another. And the excuses they're probably going to change each time, but the pattern remains the same. Like tomorrow, I was under a lot of stress, but today I'm drinking because I'm celebrating. Right. But next week, it's going to be nobody understands what I'm dealing with. It's different excuses, same direction, same place, same thing. Right. And this isn't just about drinking. This is about anything in our lives that has a character defect attached to it. Right. Like just like not going to a meeting. It's just the example that's on my top of my head. Right. I'm doing pretty good today. I don't need a meeting. Oh, really? So because today you feel good, you no longer need AA. Huh. What about the giving it away portion? How are you doing that? Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess I better go and claim my seat at least. Right. I remember I was about, I don't know, a month sober. And I made the mistake of saying this to my sponsor. I said, I'm just going to go this week and listen. And he turned to me and he said, Dion, then don't even bother going. He said, don't even bother going if you're just going to listen. If you're not there to share your experience, strength, and hope and help the newcomer, don't fucking bother. That's what he told me. I'm like, and he was right. Now he was talking to me. Okay, maybe it's different for you, but for me, he was right. Right? It is not often that I go to a meeting and do not share. Even if it's my name is Dion and I'm an alcoholic, thank you for having me. Even if it's that. Now, not always, but you could go to a Zoom meeting with 80 people in it and no hands up when 80% of the people have their cameras off. I went to one this morning and they said, please don't walk around with your camera on them. And I do a lot of walking around in the meetings. So I just get to my destination, turn the camera back on, right? Different rules stuff, right? But I can't rationalize. Maybe you'll go into a meeting, I'm not really liking this meeting. And then you're going to rationalize leaving the meeting. When what you really need to do is stay and listen and take what you need, leave the rest. Not every meeting I go to is this phenomenal, over the top, great meeting, but I've been to a lot of meetings, right? Like chairing, I like doing it, but I don't get the thrill that I used to get out of it. I share my story. I do a lot of talking. I used to feel really elated after doing the daily trudges. That doesn't happen anymore. Right? Tends to go away. Well, since I'm not getting the feeling I want, now it comes with different other benefits, right? So, rationalization is different from a reason, a good reason. There may be a real reason something happened, but rationalization comes afterward and tries to make the behavior acceptable. So the reason says this is what happened. Right. And then rationalization turns around and says, therefore, what I did was okay. Right. These aren't the same thing. These are different things. Am I trying to understand my behavior or defend it? This would be the same reason. Oh, I went and drank because so and so said this to me today. It's still rationalization, still justification. You just found a good. Quit giving yourself reasons to stay sick. Yeah. Now do some character building. All right. The alcoholic mind. All right. We should probably just all be attorneys. Alcoholics make great attorneys when we're sober and in recovery because we're great at all this stuff. We become our own best defense lawyer. We collect evidence supporting what we want to do, and we ignore everything else that argues a point against it. Right? Because we remember how stressed we are, what somebody did to us, how unfair life has been, how much better we are doing, but somehow we leave out the evidence that does not support our case. Right? If I already know the answer I want, I can usually build an argument to get there. No, I can, and it's not going to take too long. These videos that you see all over the place. Man teaches police officer how to behave, and just these weird. They're all one-sided storytelling. You are only getting half the story that they want you to do, or they want you to see. Because what do they want? They want you to agree with them. Look what this person did. Man, look at this portrait. Caught my wife cheating. I busted her while on camera. Okay, but what happened before that? What caused her to go cheat on you? Where's that part of the story? Was it because you kicked her out of the fucking house? You didn't tell that part of the story, did you? That you were in a drunken rage and made her leave because you're a jerk. But we didn't get that part, did we? Person for some reason, goes off on police officer or but they didn't show how somebody was antagonizing that person. So I'm gonna tell you right now, when I see any of those videos, I don't believe them. I don't. Right. Now, I did just watch a story about an autistic kid. His mom came walking in the door. He's like, hey, look what I did. Look what I did. It was really exciting. It was really cool. He made 2 hamburgers. He made a couple of hamburgers, but this was a big step for him. I'd much rather see that. Much rather. He was so excited. Good job, Jacob. Good job, dude. Fucking awesome. All right. So, rationalization, it starts way before the drink does. All right. So, if we skip what keeps us grounded or avoid the people who challenge us, then we start to hide things. Okay. Then we return to our old environments. The resentment comes back. And then we believe that the rules no longer apply to us. Were you here? Listen to the unmanageables. Sound like Brad's going through that. He thinks the rules don't apply to him because of status. Nope. Sorry, Charlie. Right? So, but the pattern of explaining away our own behaviors is worth paying attention to. We need to look at that pattern, right? So it's honesty that interrupts this argument, right? Sometimes the most useful thing I can say to myself is that an excuse? Not, I don't have a good reason. Not, you don't understand. Not, this time it's different. That kind of recognition can stop the eternal debate. What am I really going for here? What am I doing? Ask yourself. All right. So in recovery, if you are hanging around people, if you are consistently going to a meeting, having a sponsor, there will be people in your life that will help you catch this before you take an action on it or not take an action, because if you're not going to meeting, you're not taking the action. All right. Like if somebody says, okay, see you at 5 and they're not there, I send them a message. Where are you? Where are you? I don't see you here. Every time I meet with a sponsor, they always tell me, I'll see you at 5. I'll try and be there. Oh, okay. Not every time. A lot of times they haven't been showing up lately. So, well, most of them are now. I had a little bit of switch in the sponsees. So I have a few new sponsees. So we don't have to wait till the bottle is in our hand to start making a different change here. We can learn to recognize that the thinking comes before it. So when we hear ourselves saying these phrases like just this once, I deserve this. Now, what you deserve is recovery. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a good life. What you don't deserve it to do is drink and be a jerk towards everybody around you. Right? So we can stop and ask, am I making a decision or am I building a justification? All right. So rationalizing rarely stays in one place. One excuse makes room for the next one. One justification makes it easier to do the next one. And eventually we can find ourselves somewhere we never intended to go. So in closing, the most important question may not be whether my excuse makes sense. It may be, where is this excuse taking me? Is this excuse taking me to something healthier, or is it leading me to my drug of choice? In my case, alcohol. So. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and keep